budget for the Economic Development Corporation. Item D is approval of the fiscal year 2016 proposed budget for the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority. Item E is approval of the fiscal year 2016 proposed budget for the Local Development Finance Authority. Item F is approval of the schedule of fees to be charged by the Kalamazoo Municipal Golf Association in 2016. Item G is adoption of the resolution approving the schedule of fees to be charged by the Community Planning and Development Department in 2016. Item H is adoption of a resolution approving the schedule of fees to be charged by the Parks and Recreation Department in 2016. Item I is adoption of a resolution approving the schedule of fees to be charged for special event application, late fees, and service fees in 2016. And item J is adoption of a resolution establishing the fees for obtaining a quadricycle operating permit in the city of Kalamazoo.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Do you have any reports this evening?
We don't have any formal report this evening other than what's being proposed here for approval is consistent with the information presented at the budget work session in December and that of last week. So including the solid waste changes that were discussed at last week's work session. And I just, again, want to thank the staff that worked on all of this. There's been a lot of work that went into the preparation of this budget, and their work is admirable.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Anyone in the audience wanting to comment on this item, please step to the podium. You'll have 4 minutes. Give us your name and whether you live within the city. Seeing no one, Commissioners, the requested action is a motion to adopt the budget resolution, component unit budgets, and fee schedules. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Vice Mayor Cooney.
Support.
Supported by Commissioner Sykes. Discussion? Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. I want to commend the city manager and the staff. This was not easy. It gets harder every year to meet the needs as best we can. And we know it's not going to be easier in the future unless we make some decisions. But you folks have worked really hard and done everything you can to provide all the services that our people deserve as much as we possibly can. There's a lot more we'd rather do, but we just don't have the resources to do it. So I thank you for all the work that went into this.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Any other comments? Clerk Borland, please call the roll.
Commissioner Milzarek.
Yes.
Commissioner Sykes.
Yes.
Commissioner Urban.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cooney.
Yes.
Mayor Hopewell.
Yes.
Commissioner Anderson.
Yes.
Commissioner Knott.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. Motion carried. Mr. Manager, you have a report this evening?
Nothing this evening, Your Honor.
We're now at the opportunity for any citizen to comment this evening. Please step to the podium. You'll have 4 minutes. Give us your name and whether you live within the city. Seeing no one, we are now at miscellaneous commissioner comments. Commissioner Mozart.
Thank you. I don't know if this mic's working tonight, but
It is.
Is it? All right, I just can't hear it. Just wanted to, maybe share some thoughts on, being a new commissioner and you sort of get this budget put at you fast, and wanted to thank all my colleagues and everyone at the city for walking us through it. And, there's a lot of changes I think we need to make in the city to align our vision and values and get the budget in order in the future for sustainability, and I look forward to that work in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Urban. Commissioner, would you check to make sure it's on? I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. I'll start again. Sorry. I wanted to just comment on the situation we find ourselves in with regard to our long-term viability as a balanced budget unit of government. We're drawing down our reserves somewhat this year. We've been doing that right along, helped somewhat by one-time pots of money that we found. But this particular year, the fact that the Eastern Hills Golf Course sale did not go through means that we're a little bit more vulnerable than we thought we would be 6 months ago. So the I would say maybe this is a little too strong, but we're marching toward a cliff financially in this city. And I think it's time that we all create some awareness about that in the general community and some preparedness for some action. I hope whatever solution we find to provide more revenue includes in it an attempt, a practical attempt to actually solve the root cause of our problem, which is basically a disparity in property tax rates throughout the metropolitan area of this county. So I want to just put that out there, and I hope that we'll have some thoughts about how to deal with that in the course of our deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Knott?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This is the first State of the State that I've missed in probably a decade to be here at this meeting. And while I reference that, we're all aware what's going on tonight. The governor's going to spend the breadth of his time talking about what's going on in Flint. I have dozens of colleagues joining hundreds of people at the Capitol right now protesting what's happening in Flint. And I think it's directly related to the action that we've taken tonight and some of the comments previously made, in that our community needs to have revenue enhancements, long-term sustainable enhancements, so that we're not the next Flint or Detroit or neighbor to the west of Benton Harbor, where emergency managers come in and they strip local units of a government of doing the job of governing. So while the State of the State's going on tonight, and we lucked out this time around with the budget, and I commend the staff and the city manager on the hard work, we have some tough choices to make as we move forward, and I look forward to working with this group as well as the staff on finding long-term solutions for this city.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Sykes?
What a night. So before I get into that business, I just want to take a moment out and say how amazing the young people were that were here earlier. It makes my heart happy, especially as somebody who, social justice is my passion. And so to see young people already doing that work now is just beautiful. It really makes me really confident about the future of our city to have such great leaders already. Thank you, Commissioner Knott, for bringing up the folks over in Flint. I know all of us are feeling a lot of emotions about what's happening to fellow Michiganders, and hopefully we can help in some way. I know that through this budget process, and I will thank staff, for your flexibility in meeting with us over and over and over again, and explaining things to us, and reworking a couple of things. Your work is greatly appreciated. And I know there have been some cuts, especially around solid waste. I know that we weren't able to move forward with a new recycling program that a lot of folks wanted. And I think it's really important to understand that the reason for that is that, we haven't dealt with the issues that we have in the city around revenue. And so we've got to get serious about that conversation moving forward. I look forward to talking about that more with my colleagues this year, and in hopes that we'll be doing a lot better the next time we go through this process.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Anderson?
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to tell a happy story tonight, and that is this. It's a bit of also a close the loop story. Some few months ago now, there was an issue that came before us on the City Commission related to extending a pilot agreement, payment in lieu of taxes, for a property known as New Horizon Village out in Gull Road that has been much distressed and in need of serious renovation. It's been many, many, many years since that occurred. And there's also an organization in town called the Lift Foundation, quiet organization that doesn't have staff. And I happen to be chair of the Lift Foundation. I have been for well over a decade. And there was some questioning, that's an unpaid position, by the way, but there was some questioning from the audience about how this was a conflict and was inappropriate for there to be members here who happen to also be involved in other volunteer activities around the community. And, and somehow there was something untoward about all that. So that said, I just want to remind all of us what can happen when we do this work together. And that is that we approved the extension of a pilot. Lift Foundation applied for the third time to the Michigan State Housing Development Authority for low-income housing tax credits, the really singular way that affordable housing is created in this country. And we applied this past fall, and we just found out about 4:30 on Friday that we received our award this time, finally. So that is $9.2 million into Kalamazoo, entirely to renovate and preserve a decent, safe, and affordable housing for lower income people in Kalamazoo. So I'm very, very happy to announce that happened. Wouldn't have happened without a pilot. Just, you know, it's a simple thing, but would not have happened without the pilot. And in addition, there were city staff that spent many, many hours working, helping us put together this application this time. Laura Lamb led that up. I'm certain that our city manager knows how much time she spends doing those kinds of things. But I just want to remind everybody that, once again, this is the quiet work that city staff do that nobody sees people marching down the street, but it has real, significant, tangible benefits for the city of Kalamazoo. So this is something now, it's just been posted on the website. So I'm holding Mishta to it now, but it was posted on the website on Friday. We haven't gotten our letter yet at the Lift Foundation, but this will mean that going forward here, we will have 79 units of affordable housing. Some of the units are supportive housing, supporting people who possibly could not otherwise live on their own. And an interesting thing about this development is it's a mixed income development. So some of the units are not subsidized, which I think is a good way to go, and also recognizes some of the history that we've had out at New Horizons. So within relatively short order, the name New Horizon Village will not be one that we'll be using around Kalamazoo any longer. We have to, this project is known as Heather Gardens. We already completed the first 2/3 of the work out there with a previous tax credit application, but we're hoping that construction will start, millions of dollars, hiring people in town, doing good work sometime in late to midsummer, and that by this time next year, we will have persons occupying totally renovated units in our beautiful city, and on nights like this, having no concern about whether they're going to be able to afford the rent or lose their place, because the rent will be affordable to them, and they will rest assured that on cold evenings, you'll have a warm place to sit inside and make the life that you want to make. So anyway, thank you, City Commission, City staff, and I want to recognize the members of the Lift Board as well, who do all this work as a deep commitment to the city of Kalamazoo, and will continue to do that. So thank you, one and all.
Commissioner, might you mention the other neighborhood partners? Did you want to mention that?
Sure, that's a good idea, as a matter of fact. It's one of the things that strengthened our application this time is our increased involvement with East Side organizations, Pat Taylor, East Side Neighborhood Association, Don Jones, Habitat for Humanity, the Sam Lee Lofi, and I'm forgetting the name of the organization she's involved with, but
Center for Youth and Community.
yeah, okay. All those agencies have come together for our East Side neighborhood, really creating a East Side revitalization plan for an area of town that we've grappled with oftentimes, how to help deeply committed neighbors there in those neighborhoods to preserve and improve their neighborhoods. So without that work, we would not have done as well as we did either.
Thank you, Commissioner. Vice Mayor Cooney?
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate Commissioner Anderson and thank him for all that wonderful work that he does in this and in so many other ways to help people that are struggling to find a decent place to live. He does such a wonderful job. It's great. And then I just wanted to say how proud I was to be a part of this community who celebrated Martin Luther King's birthday in such a wonderful way. On Sunday, with Mount Zion and all the events that took place on yesterday. It's just a wonderful thing. We need to do that. We need to celebrate the victories that we've won in the past. We also have to be called to the unfinished work because Dr. King started out working on two important things, desegregation and voting rights, and he won both of them. He didn't just win, the movement won those things. But the last 3 years of his life, he was working on economic justice. And that was a battle that he did not win, and that's a battle that we have to continue. So I think celebrating his birthday, we have to celebrate what happened, but then we have to renew our determination to continue the work that he started.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Just real quick, if the staff would just stand up, all you city staff folks, DDA folks, please stand up for me. I'm hoping the person that's running the cameras is getting a shot of these folks. So one of the things we know that none of us could do this work without you. And we know how difficult it has become and how challenging, how individuals go without salary increases and sometimes without recognition. And I think from a voice from the commission, we want you to know we do appreciate you every single day. So if we haven't said it lately, I'm saying it today. You'll probably hear it another day, but we appreciate all of the hard work, all the struggle, all the ideation, and really exploring how to make this city run every single day. This work is your work. This community, you are a part of it, and we appreciate you and we love you for everything you do and sacrifice for our city. Thank you all. I want to also mention that the city manager and I have been having conversations with the governor's office, with folks in Flint. I know the public services director is reaching out to the public services director over in Flint and trying to determine some ways that we might be able to assist the good folks there. We know that there has been disaster declarations and all of those things, but there may still be some things that we can do. So we're not wanting to step into something without some guidance from that community, and we don't want to stop anyone from doing anything that they're doing. We're talking about collecting water, we're talking about collecting filters, or even trying to truck water over if we can. So we'll keep you apprised about that, but we don't want you folks to think that this city hasn't been thinking about our neighbors and our family on the other side of the state. So wanted to make sure I mentioned that. Commissioners, we are now at item N, request for a closed session to consider material, what's that word? Exempt, I better put these on. Material exempt discussion or disclosure by state or federal statute. Is there a motion? Moved by Vice Mayor Cooney.
Support.
Supported by Commissioner Urban. Clerk Borland, please call the roll.
Commissioner Sykes,
Yes.
Commissioner Urban,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cooney,
Yes.
Mayor Hopewell,
Yes.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Knott,
Yes.
Commissioner Milzarek.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. Motion carried. We will not be returning for action. This meeting is adjourned.